It's a beautiful afternoon today here in Lagos, televising live from the Silverbird Studios. I hope you're doing very well. My name is Damilola, and today, having the privilege to sit on the seat where you never usually find me. And of course, thank God for Kike, she's fine. But due to unavoidable reasons, she's not joining us at the studio today. And I'll be doing this with the husband of the house, the chief husband, as in, they say the man is the head of the family. So we women, we are the neck, but we are the ones controlling. Marshall, how are you?
On this show right now, I'm the neck, and she's doing the...
Just look at that twist.
It is...
okay, so
how are you?
I'm beautiful, I'm doing very well, of course.
See.
I'm celebrating me today. Do you know it's International
Youth Day, yes.
Congratulations, we're
Congratulations to you too as well. Some of us are not so sure. You know, you attain a certain age and you begin to get confused as to whether you're still a youth or not. But yes.
Even the adults, they are running, they are coming back. You find men in their 60s and they'll say, oh no, I'm still a youth. And wow, really?
Well, let me not hesitate in welcoming our viewers to the show. Welcome. It's The Real Talk with Kike show. My name is Marshall Anthony Onoya. This is a show where conversations are real. And Dami and I will be taking you through this journey. Hopefully, at the end of the day, you'll be satisfied you joined us. Welcome.
Absolutely. All right, viewer, from everywhere you're having the privilege to watch us today, let's go on this day in history and let's see what history has to tell us.
On this day in history, August 12, 2013, exactly 18 years ago, Nigeria became the first African country to sign the UN Arms Trade Treaty, marking resolute and unyielding efforts to deny arms to terrorists, pirates, and bandits. Nigeria has become the first African country to ratify the Arms Trade Treaty, or ATT, an international agreement aimed at stopping the illegal shipments of deadly weapons. The ATT lays out an overarching set of rules to govern the import and export of a broad range of weapons, from small firearms to warships to helicopters. It aims to promote transparency and oversight for all weapons exchanges around the world, with the ultimate goal of contributing to international and regional peace, security, and stability.
We're going to be exploring youth participation in politics and technology application for national development. And our guest, Mr. Tolu Egbeyemi, Managing Consultant, Cognoscenti Consultant, Lead Convener of the IOP Foundation. But before we bring in our guest, we just had on this day in history, Marshall, what do you think? Let me start with you, like the head of the family.
Well, this day in history didn't really strike me, but yes, it's something to remember. What it brings to mind for me is the fact that Nigeria was known, or has been known, it's a plus for us, has been known as you remember the days of the ECOMOG, and we used to be rated as one of the best, having one of the best guerrilla fighters in the world. I do remember how back in the 90s we usually brag about how our military was one of the most formidable in the world, but I'm not so sure whether we still can brag as such, seeing how we failed in the fight against insurgency and Boko Haram.
I think our bragging right, let me borrow the word bragging, our bragging right has been watered down. I would also say that if we're going to look at 18 years ago, the ATT policy, but these few days, in the last 8-9 years, we've had consistent seizure of firearms from the Nigerian ports, from Apapa ports, and of course some people have been apprehended over time, a few people, but it still begs my curiosity, like, how did these firearms get in? Who cleared them? Somebody must be involved in racketeering of this procurement of firearms, but we never see anybody being brought to justice. Yeah, there are people being paraded, and it feels like it ends where it has been paraded or where they have been paraded. But I think the only thing is just to implore or to beg, if that's the right word to use now, to beg the federal government. Because in the next 2, 3, 5 years, the little child on the street might have access to guns, to ammunitions. Because even considering now that a lot of people, there are news out there saying that even the ammunition that is out there on the streets is way more than what the Nigerian military, the Nigerian police, and the Air Force have together have.
You just might want to ask yourself who's to be held responsible. Remember, a former military head of state had said, when an insurgency lasts overnight, you know that the government has a hand in it. So, saying that the number of ammunitions or the amount of ammunitions on the streets is far more than that which the military bears. I don't know whom you'd want to blame for this.
Like I said earlier on this show today, it's a double-themed Thursday, and we are going to be exploring the youth participation in politics, and also we'll be looking at technology application for national development with our guest today, Mr. Tolu Egbeyemi, who is a consultant. He's also a tax manager. He has a very robust profile. But before we look into his profile, Masha, what do you think about the topic, youth participation in politics and the use of technology in nation building?
I just feel we should just get right to it. But looking at what obtains in very recent times, especially in the last general elections, where we had very vibrant personalities, youth that come out to vie for very
important offices?
Yeah. And seeing how they failed, whether it was our fault, the electorate, or their fault, the fact that some of these new political parties that had a distribution of the youth, they had agreed to come together to form a pact, which failed eventually. I don't know if it was as a result of their own selfish ambitions or some infiltration by some powers that be. Remember also, I just bring to mind Kate Henshaw when she ran for office and how she lamented about how much she had to spend and all of that. So it's something for the youth to hold on to, the hope for tomorrow that someday they will still have a horizon somewhere to get to.
If we look at participation of youth in politics, it's still very low. Maybe fear, maybe anxiety, maybe some youth just feel that, you know what, let them do it their way. But today with our guest, we are going to really know how the youth should applicably defend their own rights, defend their votes, and stand up for their voices. Let's take a quick look at our guest profile. We'll be right back. In recent times, far from the decades of dominance of the old, the youth have begun realizing their powers and influence in the leadership system of the country, hence their alignment towards politics and governance. However, the stakes are still high, the inclusion is relatively less, and the youth yearn for more participation. Challenges and the political gains of the youth, the political system, and much more is what we are going to be discussing today with our guest on the show. Welcome, Mr. Tolu Egbeyemi. How are you?
I'm all right.
Okay, so I would like to start on this note. You are the convener of IOP Foundation, that's Inform, Organize, and Participate. Can you share with us the birth of the vision of this organization?
Well, IOP has been in existence since 2013, thereabout. What actually brought about IOP was that we needed to look for people, younger people anyway, share your ideas. A lot of people are orientated. They don't even know where to go to, no leadership. Everywhere is rudderless. So we're saying, okay, you know what, my friend, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? Everybody wants to share their ideas. They want to share their knowledge. Okay. And we're saying, you know what, I think we are a little bit more informed than a few of our peers. What do we do? You don't actually have to go into politics all the time to inform people. There's so many information regarding businesses, regarding relationships, that we can share. But I now understood that those three things are the key to achieving any kind of development in Nigeria. Okay. A lot of us are not informed.
Okay.
We are disorganized and we do not participate. So those three things, without even wasting time, is what we want to throw out and say, you know what, are you informed? Are you well organized? Do you participate? So that was what brought about the foundation with a few of my friends. And they are really bitter about Nigeria, but they want to do more. But they couldn't do anything. I said, you know what, guys, let's put this energy into something. Let's start with, at least, without even paying any dime, without even doing anything, can we just tell them what the problem is without wasting time? Inform, organize,
And
participate.
Wow.
So that was what happened.
That's okay.
Do we see this metamorphosing into like a political party? First of all, I must commend you, you know, the youth coming out to do this. I mean, we know that you have some political backings or political willpower. We cannot rule out your association with the state government via your father's position in the state. My question would be, are we going to see some political integration or metamorphosis from an organization that is, you know, orientational in nature, and then we'll see it going into turning out to become a political party?
You see, good question. IOP metamorphosing into a political party or a political drive or political stuff, it is not what we want.
Okay.
What we want is, IOP is even so much more than Nigeria right now.
Okay.
Because from my study, since 2011, 2012, after the Arab Spring, United Nations has even taken upon themselves to look into what is going on in Africa with the youth. The 35 years below have about maybe, in about 52 African countries, the percentage is about maybe 1.5% of people participating in governance.
Active governance.
You see, there's a difference between politics, governance, and policy making.
Yeah, okay.
The point is, the youth in Africa are disillusioned with participating in politics. We always do the fanfare part of it. But the point is, the major thing that's supposed to be done is the policy making. You can't decide what I'm going to be for me in the next 4 years or 20 years. Almost all my leaders are 10, 15 years older than me. And they want to make decisions that will affect my life, my children.
Another
15 years. And you don't carry me along. We go around together, and when we get to the door where the decision is supposed to be made, they say, okay, you can now go and we'll see tomorrow. Who does that? So IOP is not a political movement. It is what we have, even as a matter of fact, my political journey or political stuff is, I think it's just natural. Sometimes I run away, I'll be like, I don't really want to be involved in all of this. But the point is, the drive keeps coming back.
Okay, I would like to look at participation and responsibility delegation. Does it have to do with individualism?
You see, we have something coming up pretty soon, whereby we have discussed these issues. And I spoke to my peers, I said, come, whatever we are asking for when it comes to inclusion, we are not asking for anything because we are young. We have so many, pardon me, you know, I don't want to use bad words, young people that are not getting it right. You understand what I'm saying? And we have so many older people that have shown us in the last 60 years, you know, empirically,
how to do it.
That they can't do anything. They couldn't do anything for 60 years. You understand what I'm saying? That is empirical. We can see it, facts and figures. The younger ones that are coming, of course, you know, you are allowed to describe a majority number of people if they act in a particular way. We have not been given enough chances to say this is how we are going to behave. You mentioned the Kogi state government. I don't want to name names. Even in my state, apparently maybe one of my governors is maybe the oldest when he became the governor. I have my first governor, the Otumani Adebayo. It was about some few days left to be 41 when he was sworn in as a governor. After him, we had Dr. Peter Ayadele Fayoshi. Less than 42 or 40. I mean, in that range. In
that category.
I think it was Uni.
Shegoni.
That was actually, you know, and look at the sitting governor too. 45 when he became the governor. The point is, these guys have actually gone through the process. They have studied it. They know where the loopholes are. They know how to play the games. This politics that we play in Nigeria is not inclusive. Either you are a youth, either you are an elderly person, or mid-age, nobody is included. It's a cabal.
A set of people.
It's a set of people. So you are not restricted by age, and your age does not even give you a license to participate. But we have an antidote to that.
We do. Like to hear.
We do. The point is
because I think these few days, even the youth that have been agitating for let's come together, let's make a move, let's put our voice, it seems like the older set of have tried to continuously clamp them continuously break them? And if you're talking of inform, organize especially, how do you then organize when they don't even want your organization to stand?
Thank you very much. You see, I like that question. And that question has always been what we use to talk to people. You see, Nigeria as a whole, we cannot live in isolation of what this country is. Either you are young or old. The society builds or, tells you what to do. The mind is a clean slate. It's what I see around me that makes me. You understand what I'm saying? The particular foundation of the country is shattered. Are you getting me? That means our relationship as a people in Nigeria is not formidable. So either we want to participate or not. Either we are participating towards where? To what extent, to what,
To what extreme?
You understand what I'm saying? Now, we're talking about participation. People are not participating. People do not want to participate because they know that it's all charade, it's all gimmicks. The level of participation we want is actually in the Constitution. We want direct primaries to be included in the Constitution of the country, whereby a bona fide political member, a member of a political party, who maybe financially bona fide, you know what I mean, will be able to choose his aspirant to become a candidate. That is the best level of participation. I don't need to tell you to come out and vote for somebody you made your candidate.
You are the one that will stand in the front to mobilize.
This direct primary, these primaries that we do, delegacy and all of that, you choose a few people. It's easier for us to actually commandeer a few people, either with cash, with influence, or with affinity. It could be my brother, it could be anything. You understand what I'm saying? But the point is, if you want inclusion, it's not about the youth alone. It's about the future of this country. What do I want for myself and my children in the next 10 years in this country? The antidote to that is when everybody, either you are political or not, if you are interested, because you cannot, during the times of our law, even though we were not there, but we saw what happened. There was a card I saw, action group card, whereby you pay maybe 5 trillion or whatever as your membership due. People were doing it diligently. You can't pay 20,000 naira to any of the political parties right now in Nigeria as a member in a year. I'm a member of Labour Party when I was in the UK. We used to pay maybe £4, £5, and they will send you newsletters. They will tell you what to do, regularly. So I can't pay 20,000 naira to the party, and I have the power to choose my candidate. And you tell me that I will not stand up in my house to go and vote for who to be my candidate. So that is it.
It's good to hear all of these fantastic ideas from you, and I'm sure that Nigerians and the world will be watching closely to see how it turns out. Talk, they say, is cheap.
Very, very cheap.
It is action that is more costly. So before I go with my question, I'd like to also let you know that Nigerians are fed up. There was a statement you were headed towards, talking about the antidote, what youth can do. But I wanted to say it's because Nigerians are fed up with the gimmicks that always come up. They've lost hope. How do you intend to endear them towards seeing that, look, there's hope on the horizon? And then the issue of thuggery, call it a double barrel question, if you may.
Yeah.
The issue of thuggery, because that's where the youths mostly feel they could get the envelopes to go and, wreak havoc, snatch ballot boxes, get access to weapons, to get closer to the political leaders, protect them and all of that. How do you also intend to dissuade them from such acts?
You see, let's take it from participation.
Yes.
The level of participation is very low. The youth that we're talking about, they're about 65% of the country right now as we speak. Either we like it or not, they are the decider. But the point is that they are, sorry to say, not well informed. Yeah. You see, the people that carry guns...
Well informed, not well empowered.
Yeah. You see, empowerment will come when you have information. I can't empower someone that is not informed. As I am in my society, in my very close community, I don't give money to people that I know they are not informed. When you are 13 years younger, I believe that I can actually mentor you. When you are more than that, I know, not even, generally in Nigeria, they want to take the handout and wait for the next person to give them the handout. So the more they get the handout, the better for them. So empowerment does not come before information. Before you can become a wise person, you must actually gather information, which transforms to knowledge. Then when you apply the knowledge, it becomes wisdom. So we can't jump that,
the face.
Yeah. So back to your question. You see, the idea that people are participating in Togri is a symptom to what the problem is. There's no need to participate in Togri when you know that in your street, about 20,000 people will choose who their candidate will be. The Togri we are participating or they are using as a matter of fact, it has even actually gone down. You know, if you look back from 2011 till date, it was really rampant in Kogi and Bayelsa and all that because we follow closely and all of that, and we even do some research to see what were the issues. Most of the times, this political Togri are because of the internal wranglings of the party. It's not even inter-party most times. Okay, we want to go to primaries. You know I can win you. You know my candidate can win somebody. They suppress him. Okay. So, and because there's no monopoly of stupidity anyway, so I can actually arrange for people that are not informed to fight my case, to fight my cause. So that transcends and that leads to what? Terrorism, banditry, and all of that. So I'm not looking at addressing those symptoms.
The inclusion of technology for national development can never be overemphasized. The strength of digitalization, the power emergence, and homogeny for many developed countries and streams of technology is exceedingly encompassing and widely applicative. However, it will be contingent to shallow our discussion depth into this second topic to talk about electoral voting systems, politics, corruptions, and other national-related issues that confines us to which technology can be applicable and solvable to these problems. So what do you think on, because I say particularly if BVN can work, I think that the voting process too can work. What do you think is a major deterrent to this factor?
Well, the point is the willpower, yeah? When I saw the topic, I was just like, it's like everybody knows what the problem is. There can't be any society that does not understand what they are, how many they are, who they are, where they sleep, what are my strengths, and survive. The last time we had census in Nigeria was in 2006 or something.
Yeah, about 2004, yeah. Between
it was under Obasanjo. Yeah. We have always postponed census intentionally. Census is not even as expensive as we run elections, you know. But because of the political will that is lacking, and basically because of the manipulation,
okay,
you know, if as a matter of fact, as you are right now, if you go home with enough food, they will go around. And if you go home with lesser, of course, you know you have to go back and get some. How many doctors do we have in Nigeria? How many students do we have in Nigeria? How many architects do we have in Nigeria? Without data, we cannot go anywhere. Okay. These are simple things. I see, you know, sometimes I talk about these issues and I feel like, am I really...
Is it like somebody is trying to sabotage an effort?
It's not somebody. That's why I told you that the foundation is in shambles. You understand what I'm saying? When there is no love, when there is no respect for each other, there's nothing we can agree on. Because there's distrust already. I don't trust you, you don't trust me. We don't do things in common.
But do you think, as it is, that Nigeria or INEC can achieve electronic voting and transmission of election results?
My dear brother, yeah. We should not even try to waste our time on achieving electronic voting and transmission. Two different things. The first leg is electronic voting, which is actually right now embedded in the Electoral Act. So the part whereby you transmit what you have voted electronically, how do you want to do it? Do you want to put it on the back on your knapsack and take it to where it's supposed to be? We cannot we can't put something on nothing. It won't amount to anything. The other day, I went through the numbers of senators that voted against electronic transmission. Basically, they were very smart about it. They said the power now lies...
The number of senators that voted electronically against electronic voting.
Well, okay. I think he's a smarter man. You know, electronically against electronic voting. Yeah? And I look at the numbers and I saw the block. If you are very politically savvy, you will know the block. And why should you use this personal interest to actually dent my future, my children's future, even their own future? You see, people don't understand something. I know senators that have been there and right now they don't even know what to do anymore. Yes, you know,
Yes.
We know governors that have been there before that they can even manage businesses. They can't turn. That is one of the problems we have. They have their strength in politicking. You don't have strength in business. You understand what I'm saying? So when we are looking for people to fill up our pegs and all of that, they must be round pegs, round and all of those things. So sometimes when you are very strong in mobilizing people, it doesn't mean that you can mobilize money.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? So sincerely speaking, the issues are just not about, those things are symptomatic. INEC is a child of something. You understand what I'm saying? The people, we should come together and sit and say, come, what is the problem? Why don't you like me, my brother? Why don't you like me, my sister? That is when everything can fall in place. And they can, as a matter of fact, the rural areas in Nigeria that do not have internet transmission, they are deploying, they want them to vote electronically, isn't it?
Yeah.
With the, what do you call it?
With the card readers and all of that. The
Biometric.
machine.
So how would they do that? How do you want them to do that? We have at least 75% of Nigeria covered with either GPRS, 3G, 2G, and they are using the simplest of the technology, not 5G, not 4G.
So I take it that in simple terms that you don't think that electronic e-voting can be successfully achieved.
E-voting is already
in place. Okay.
We already have as a matter of fact, if you don't vote electronically right now, it's against the law.
Okay. But in the last just concluded local government elections, we had the same problems that keep rigmaroling, card readers not working. Some people don't even have voters card yet. Even the process of getting your voters card, some still have. I saw somebody still carry the old temporary card and say, okay, yeah, I've queued. And some other policies behind it, yeah, saying that when you change address or when you do not, yeah, live somewhere again, you have to go back to reapply and all of those funny policies. I think that, do you think we would have a headway eventually if we cannot even succeed with electronic voting?
You see, so as a matter of fact, I don't look at small problems anymore because I think we are born with that. Everywhere we go to, there must be an issue. Most of these things you see, they become cumbersome because people want to milk their fellow citizens from it. I have a friend who, she was actually in charge of Ikeja PWD registration, and she's a very civil person. It's a cabal, kind of. Everything in Nigeria.
So do you think this cabal can really be broken?
Let me tell you why. There's nobody in charge of it. Something binds them together. When you see band of criminals, when you see criminals, what binds them together is the loot, is the spoil of the, of the whole trip. The point is, Africans generally, this is not limited to Nigerians, we find it difficult to make ourselves deterrents. We don't punish ourselves.
Okay.
So if there is no punishment for anything, as a matter of fact, we even celebrate notoriety. We celebrate thuggery and all of those things. We know a few leaders that have been to, to so many, uncuffed places, and they came back and we actually met them with dancing figures up and down. So those people, they are not the issue. You understand what I'm saying? What we need to put in place is the SOP, standard operating system. When there's a standard operating system to follow, it will follow. Most of our problems can be 30% of our problems can be solved with technology. Imagine you sit down in your house. There is no data. I don't need to go and meet a girl and tell me I want to do fingerprint. My fingerprint is already with banks. My fingerprint is with driver's license. Where else do we have it?
We have it on the international passport. We have it on.
So the point is,
even the voter's card itself.
If I can be at home, right now we're having BVN. We're having name. Name can stand in as a social security number as we go. So if I impute my BVN, and I have it connected to my phone, there can be a secondary check that says, you know what, before you can authorize this, input these numbers. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. So all of those things are applicable. Do you
at any point think that we also need to involve service providers too in this situation?
We already have service providers in all of this. The point is, we are not ready for this result.
We are not ready.
The result, not all of us, I mean the people in charge. The result might not be palatable to maybe my town, maybe my region, maybe my religion. That is why I said, you know what, let us be in our spaces and let us understand how we want to live together. You understand what I'm saying? For instance, don't come to my church and, what do you call it? Desecrate it. I should not come to I don't want to go to your farm. And as you've been toiling for so many months.
And so how does that apply in politics?
Thank you very much. It is in politics. There are two things I know about politics. The number one thing is endorsement.
Okay.
The other one is information. If you have those two, you will find it very easy to become successful.
Okay. Where does finance come to play in any of this?
Endorsement covers all of that.
Okay.
If you have people around you and say, you know what, this guy, I think he has the capacity. We believe in him. He goes forward. The information is key, whereby this is what I have in me. Let me share with you. We can't stop at that.
The amount of information, amount of orientation, amount of development, and organizing people. One thing that aches my heart is the fact that you'll agree with me that if you do not know where you're coming from, you're likely not going to know where you're headed.
Yeah, sure.
One thing we've done with the education system is taking away history from the curriculum. That, for me, is one bad thing that I see that the government has done. I was watching social media and I saw a video of a Ghanaian boy who was talking to his father about how he intends to go take his gold back, and he was telling his father that the British have their gold. And the boy was making a lot of sense, even though on social media it was almost turned to a comical thing.
I know.
But it touched me that this boy was educated about how the British looted their antiquities, and he was determined to go get them back.
Okay.
The taking away of history from the secondary curriculum.
Okay.
How do you feel about that? What is your take? Do you think it's the right thing, a step in the right direction? Or do you have some sort of advocacy to see that people go back to knowing where they're coming from?
Ordinarily, you just mentioned that we need to know who we are, where we're coming from.
So that we can help where we're going to.
Where we're going to. Sometimes you don't even need to go anywhere. Where you are might be the best place, So the point is, foreign validation has always been a problem with us. Western validation. Have I done it rightly? Have I done it enough? Has CNN come to talk about it? Has BBC come to talk about it? Have I gotten a Grammy Award? All of those things have actually manipulated us into leaving our history out of it. And trust me, without sentiment, put history back into the school. Let's see if we will be.
And you know that history was actually replaced with religious studies.
In some schools, they don't even do anything religion. And I will tell you, in my daughter's school, I just found out and I was like, how come? What's going on? And I said, okay, you know what? I think because of that, how we have to teach you
religion.
Religion, as a matter of fact, too, is another sensitive issue that we should be careful in discussing. You understand what I'm saying? Because all of these things do not actually materialize or boils down to the result that we are looking for. That is, as a people, religion is supposed to be what helps us, not what divides us. Education is supposed to be what gives us mental capacity to reason. What we conceive is what we become. We don't think deeply.
Okay,
so,
if we also want to look at religion, why do you think that politicians, when they are canvassing for votes, they have to end in churches to look at, okay, this is the number of congregation that is here, and if he's not really playing another part in amassing
my
people.
dear sister, either you like it, either in Nigeria or anywhere, religion is a very sensitive issue. You understand what I'm saying? So when you're talking about religion, the affinity with religion cannot even be explained, because most of the religions, as a matter of fact, you get to a particular position and they tell you, you know what, just keep it to yourself. So that is what makes it a religion, is what you do not understand beyond, because sometimes you have to question yourself. We have the capacity to reason. Either you're a madman or a Christian or a Muslim or whatever. You reason and you think in your own private capacity at so many points in time. So you ask yourself questions, but you say, well, let me just let it be, because I don't want to go against my God.
Okay, on the last note, before we go into the next segment of the show, which you are also actively involved in, recently people talked about so much about the June 12 protest and the October 10 protest, and a lot of youth still do not feel all right with the event of the day, how it all played out. Do you have a sentiment towards this too? Do you think we could have done it better?
No.
Looking at the fact that youth said they wanted to protest, and the protest almost turned into a concert, and some people thought that we were not really serious about it.
It doesn't matter. How we do about it does not matter. You see, it could have been a concert, which is even peaceful. Do they rather a bonfire or what happened in Lagos to be all over the country? If it was a concert, you see, the point is, that's what I'm saying. We do not respect each other. We don't respect ourselves. Talk less, much less of our lives. If the youths can leave whatever they are doing, forget it. It doesn't matter how you see us. I could be in my living room wasting my time. So if I can leave my living room wasting my time to the middle of the road and I'm singing and have a banner that sends a message and says SARS, end this, end that, and that, they should ask us, what's this? These guys, what's going on? What's going on in their world? What's going on in their world anyway? Yes, of course, we didn't get it right because we are not used to those kind of protests anyway. You understand what I'm saying? We have always used to violent protests from time. So the new protest, because things are changing. That's why I said IT is.
And that's why we respond with violence when there's a peaceful protest.
You see, there's always a peaceful angle to it. You see, I can explain to you, but I can tell you I don't even understand what happened because, of course, I will tell you directly or indirectly I was part of the protest. And if you go on my Instagram page, I dropped a full, maybe about 7 closest points on which way I think it should go. But the point is that's just one out of 150 million youths. Because there's a distrust as well with the leadership. There was a time they said, you know what, guys, go and bring your representatives. I'm aware of that, you know. But the point is, we don't want to push someone forward, then it becomes a scapegoat. You understand what I'm saying? But we have to be careful. You say, you know what, let us do it all together. But the point, you can't coordinate everybody all together.
Mr. Tolu, did you answer my question in the affirmative or negative as to returning history back to the curriculum?
Of course, definitely. Yes, he has to come back. Okay. He has to. There's no two ways about it. So many things has to be. As a matter of fact, yeah, not just history. The religion, as a matter of fact, I think our history is different from even our culture.
Understood.
Okay, thank you very much. It's been an insightful time having to check out what you also think as a concerned citizen and I would say useful Nigerian, because for anybody to take upon himself as young as you are to say that, you see, these narratives have to change. I think the person is useful enough, and I know that you're trying to do some run-ins in the 2023 presidential election, so we will run together. We hope that we'll run to a place of safety.
Well, that's
so on that note, we have trending stories that encapsulate all of us together and that binds us together. The first one that caught our attention on social media was the first topic, how my pastor lured married my wife of over 12 years. The church member laments, and the controversy erupts as pastor and wife and the estranged husband gives their side of the story. But so I'd like to ask you, did you follow that story and what did you think about it?
It's a story about how a lady came online lamenting on her, or rather a man came online lamenting on how his pastor lured his wife after meeting her after a period of 7 months and married her. This was a pastor who was married to a very popular pastor now. And then, but the wife has come out to counter that, to say, look, because he's laid, a marriage of 12 years, laid allegations of infidelity against the wife. But the wife has said, look, we were separated, and I had not known this pastor when my husband was being unfair to me or treating me unfairly before I left his house and then met this pastor. So just your take on
But the point is, you see, there are worse things that happen in that part. You see, that's another weapon we use. We have weaponized religion. Okay. A lot of, I'm sorry to say that, a lot of folks right now believe in the pastors more than their husband and all of that, you know. So, and a lot of men too, not because it's not limited to a gender or the other. And that is the basics, the basis of having, you know, information to understand and to see what is right. You are not responsible for what the pastor says out. You can, your responsibility is to see, okay, this is what I want to take out from it. Because the pastor is actually under so many, how do I put it, authority of the God, authority of Allah, and so many other stuff. So they have influence, a lot of influence to say, you know what.
So you think
let's look at the second story. I think that one is more interesting. It says popular socio-political critic and former presidential aide Reno Omokri has reacted to the new ranking of Aliko Dangote's wealth, stating that those who were against Goodluck Jonathan in 2015 has lost their source of wealth since then. And Reno attributed Dangote's drop in the ranking to the bad economic policies and the Buhari administration. Do you think so? Do you read Reno's nuggets?
I think sometimes it's for people that in Reno's class.
Okay.
I'm not in Reno's class, I'm sorry to say that. Reno has some, of course.
Let's leave Reno. Let's look at the point he stated. Bad economic
point
decisions
is,
and
if
Buhari
you
administration.
look at the economy, world economy particularly, the supply chain management for world economy for almost 18 months was actually disrupted. You
Due
understand
to
what I'm saying?
COVID, yeah?
Of course, the pandemic. Yeah, Buhari has his own side, you know, of course. The government is not well prepared for all of this. You understand what I'm saying? And look, internally, all the problems we have identified with us are translating to what we are going through right now. Not having the appropriate people in charge. Not having the people that can actually, you know, man up. The times are not always supposed to be very good. So we are supposed to have the downtime. Then that's when we have leaders that can say, you know what, let's drop this, let's do this, and let's move on, let's move forward. So I believe that Dangote does not only earn money from Nigeria. Maybe that was not part of it. He has cement factories all around the country. He has so many investments all around the country. Of course, Nigeria is one of his, you know, biggest investment, portfolio. Okay. But are we going to throw away the refinery? I think one of the second biggest refinery in the world, in Nigeria, that was actually facilitated by Dangote. So sometimes we don't look at the literary Forbes list and all of that. You have to look at the impact. In the next 2-3 years, there will be a lot of jobs coming from that, and it won't just be menial jobs.
Okay.
Now it's become top collar jobs, you know. So
okay.
All of those, I believe, is still politics. They are still playing politics with us in Nigeria. That's
okay. Marshall, let me hear your opinion before we close it.
You know, he started off by saying he's not in Reno's class. I don't even think about it. It's about the person of Reno Omokri, but what he said about how the economy has had its own very bitter downturn and how poorly the Buhari administration has handled the economy. It's not been a role model for other West African countries, and you'd agree with me that we've so much fallen, even though you blame it on the leadership as well. But yes, not taking the side of Reno, saying all those who were against Jonathan's ambition and all. It's not about that. But bad leadership has been installed, and you know, bad things have been happening. Let's look at ways to prop the economy back up again.
I would also like to say that it's not about Jonathan's administration or Buhari's administration, but I think bad choices of leadership, greed. We have people with unflinching attitude. If it's spoil, make it spoil. If it's scatter, make it scatter. And, you know, sometimes we also lack foresight and we have misplaced priorities when we have to look at critically how to decide on A, and we feel that, oh, A should not be prioritized. Meanwhile, that's the root cause of the problem. I also know that, of course, religion and cultural difference has also affected us in a lot of decision-taking, manning up to our own responsibilities to say, you know what, this is what we stand for and this is who we are.
I just want to quickly say to the man who took his problem to his pastor and eventually his pastor took his wife, don't take your problems to anybody. Try to resolve your problem yourself. You can take it to God, yes. Yeah. God is not a body. Take it to God and not your pastor. So it's your fault. Move on.
Move on.
You've been wonderful on the show. It's been nice having you on the show. Very, very fantastic interview.
Thank you so much, everybody that has joined us. I know that we had some calls, but because of interferences, and of course, it's still the same problems we've been talking about, networking, solving all of these issues. But with this, we have come to the end of another edition of the Real Talk with Ike. It's been an amazing gist day on the topic at hand with Mr. Tolu Egbeyemi, who is running, like I say, but we all run to a place of safety.
Yes,
I believe we brought life and spice to the Real Talks today, and we're one of a kind. My name is Damlola Bandere, and we make.
And I am Marshall Anthony. Keep keeping it real.
Yes, I would say keep being good and patriotic citizens of